going to start this video off with a question for you guys. Who burns more calories in a day? Is it the sedentary, fat, modern day person who stays at home and video games all day? Or is it the hunter-gatherer who's out walking and fighting animals and he's on his feet all the time? Which one do you think burns more calories? It's actually a trick question. They're both actually, give or take 100 or 200 calories, the same. That's because the body, through evolution, is finely tuned to different people doing different amounts of activity. Like the women and the men did different amounts of activity, but give or take, burnt the same amount of calories. It's not like men burnt 4,000 calories and women burnt 1,000 calories. It's only about 100, 200 calorie difference. Some men were meant to stay protecting, some men went out and hunted, older people. Humans tend to burn about the same amount of calories no matter what they're doing. Now, of course, if you're a marathon runner or you're doing the Tour de France, that's completely different. Or if you're going to Antarctica, that's completely different. But in our modern lifestyle, almost all people, all women and all men on their two levels, burn the same amount of calories. So why are some people in great shape and some people fat? Because if they're burning the same amount of calories, I don't get it. All this calorie deficit, all this, you've got to run and do burning your calories, make sure you're doing a run or walking, you burn your calories. That's rubbish. Even if you do a run and you burn 4, 5, 6, 700 calories, your body's going to compensate somewhere else. That's why you often see elite athletes have a very poor immune system, because your immune system requires a lot of calories. So if you're burning all those calories while running, your immune system's going to have less calories, right? Your brain burns a lot of calories. That's why a sedentary person playing video games burns so many calories, or burns the same amount of calories, because even though their muscles aren't burning the calories, their immune system and their brain and their normal bodily functions are. Your body has a degree of flexibility when it comes to that, due to the amount of food that you intake as well. So why are some people fat? Well, the answer is your diet. Everything seems to be about your diet. But why does everyone ignore it? Now, the argument I'm going to make is that you need to start eating healthily. The argument most people are going to make on me to try and disrespect or put me down is, well, what if you can't afford good food? And that's a really valid point. But I think there's a certain level where you can now start to buy decent food. I'd say of the adult population, 80%, 70% of adults are at that level where they can make this. They have the money to not spend the £10 on the chocolate bars for the week, but to spend the £10 on a pack of chicken. But there are some people that don't, and I completely understand that. And that's nothing that you can do on a personal level unless you obviously earn more money. That's purely a governmental choice. I personally believe that poverty is a governmental choice to be made. Of course, there's always going to be some people that are rich and some people that are poor, but the gap doesn't have to be like that. Or the gap, no. The gap will always stay, because there are some people that earn so much and some people that, obviously, you have to have the people that don't earn as much. But where we are now is here, where this is the poverty line. This is where people can't afford good food. What we need to be is here, so that everyone is above that line. And that's a governmental choice, I believe. And there's so many, I can't get into them all now, but there's so many ways that the government could do that. And it does need changing. But again, at the moment at least, there's nothing I can do personally to fix other people. I can fix myself. I can't help necessarily fix everyone. But I can help fix you. And you can help fix you. That's the important thing. So anyway, yes, people burn the same amount of calories no matter how much exercise they're doing. So as I said in the last video, don't bother with the half an hour jog on the treadmill. Focus purely on your diet. So another thing I want to come back to on this video is ultra processed foods. Now, these are foods that weren't around 100 years ago, let's say. So you have three categories of food. You have natural food, so that's your apples, your broccolis, your plums. You then have the processed foods like butter, cheese, juices, I guess, because they've been pressed. You have to watch juices because they have a very high sugar count, only because you're eating so much of that fruit. Like one glass of orange juice might be like 4 oranges or something crazy. But check the ingredients and check that it's just pure. You don't want any additives or preservatives. That is then ultra processed, in my opinion. But I'm talking about ultra processed foods. Now they're the worst foods you can possibly even eat. They're just pure chemicals. All cereals, stay away from them. Horrible things. Manipulate the minds of children. Like just disgusting companies. Burgers, processed foods, the breads that we eat now. If you actually look at breads, it's no longer just wheat and water. It's like some crazy spirulina. I don't know what it is. It's just crazy chemicals like E21 and emulsifiers and phenylalanine and all crazy things. Diet Coke. Now people look on the back of the Diet Coke, and if you're in England, it will have like those like 4 or 5 like green things, like the amber traffic light system, and on Coke it's all green. So you're like, oh, it's a wonder food. They're all green and I can drink it. No. Actually look at the ingredients, and here's my general rule. If you can't pronounce the name, and if you don't know what it is, it's not natural. So if you look on the back of honey, it will say like honey. You know what that is, like sugar. You know what that is. If you look on the back of some broccoli, it will say broccoli because that's what's in it. Orange juice, oranges. But if you look back on the Diet Coke, you won't have a clue what any of those things are. It will say like water, fine. Then it will say like caramel E21214. What actually is that? And you're putting it inside of you. And that's what your body's using for fuel. So you have to really cut down on these ultra processed foods. I genuinely believe there's so many statistics out there. So like a child in England, statistically, at the age of 5, is 9 centimetres shorter than that who was born 100 years ago. Just think about that. That's like diet, ultra processed foods. I genuinely believe it's stunting children's growth. People are genuinely getting dumber as well because of it, because it just fogs up your brain, and it's like not even real food. So your brain isn't used to it, your body's not used to it biologically. Just stay away from all ultra processed foods, because we don't even know the full extent of which these foods are going to be harmful to us. The reason this cancer research never seems to work is because even though the research and the medicine's getting better, people's diets and lifestyle is getting so much worse, and the ultra processed foods are now compounding in people's bodies, so that the people that are like 50 or 60 now, who've had grown up with ultra processed foods for 50, 60 years, the amount they've been eating has been compounding to the point now that they're just causing so much cancer. They're a cause of cancer. They're a cause of obesity, brain fog, dumbness, if I can even call it that now. These companies are truly controlling us from the inside out, from our brains. It's like putting a chip inside of your brain, but you don't know that they're doing it, and you love that they're doing it. And they make the food so amazing. There's an interesting study, or something I was listening to the other day, where a famous cereal company, let's not name any names, but it's Nestle, Cocoa Pops, they were there, and he said, when we have a test, we don't care about whether it is healthier, whether they enjoy it more. We care about how much the person eats of it, how quickly the packet goes down effectively, And because that's just going to mean people are buying it more and more, so their profits are going to go up and up and up. All we want is to make that food as addictive as possible. We don't care about anything else. And it's interesting as well. It's the only food you'll ever see advertisement for. When was the last time you saw food When was the last time you saw broccoli advertised? When was the last time you saw about the health benefits on the back of a broccoli or a carrot? You never see that, do you? And yet when you look on some cereal like Cheerios, 7 whole grains, it's so healthy for you, it does this, the amount of fibre. It's because they're trying to cloud your vision, literally and metaphorically. Just be aware of what you're eating, please. Cut down. Have it once in a while. Again, if you're addicted, you're going to have to progressively deload. But just ultra processed foods, stay clear. I've been saying this for many years. It's only now just starting to come up. Dr. Zard, he's written a great book and done some great podcasting. I recommend him. Is it Zard, Dr. Chris, Dr. Zard? One of those two. Van Tulleken, one of those two. Dr. Chris, I think, actually. He's written a great book. And again, on just a personal level, just don't eat it. And I know people are going to say, well, it's not as easy as just saying just don't eat it. Well, it is. It's just like your mental, think to yourself, what is this? Do I really want it? What is this? What harm is this going to cause to my body? It is that easy. Just don't do it. And I know that's the only advice I can give. And in reality, it's not easy. But you're going to have to do it. Things aren't easy. One of my last videos was about effort. You're going to have to put in effort. This video has been a bit of a rant, really, but the ultimate line is don't eat ultra-processed foods. If you've liked the video, then like and subscribe. If you've liked me, then I've got my other YouTube channel, which is the first link. Second link is my book called Longitude, which is available on Amazon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.